Okay, there's the pass standard and the objective for today. Okay, basically we're going to talk about point slope form. All right. There's three different forms that we've kind of gone over. Well, two plus this one today. Okay. Anybody tell me what those forms are? What's the one we've been working on the last couple days? You got y equals what? Okay, write this down. What is that? That's slope intercept form. Okay, what's another form? No, that's just formula. Another form. Standard, which is ax dy equals c. Write those down. And we've written equations in both those forms. Now, the thing you got to remember is, what can I do? I can go from standard form to what? Slope intercept. I can go from slope intercept to standard form by just moving some things around, right? You got to remember those things, all right? The new form that we're going to talk about today is this one right here. This is called what? Point slope. Okay, so you got slope intercept. So what do I know here? I know the slope, and I know what information is given to me. So you need to pay attention. I'm given the slope and y-intercept, right? Here I'm given a point and the slope. Okay? Is everybody clear on that? That's the information that's given to you. That's what you have to be able to match up. Okay, look at example 1. Write the point slope form equation for a line that passes through -2 and 0 with a slope of -2. Okay, now what form, here's the biggest mistake that everybody makes. What form is it asking me to write it in? Okay, so circle that, highlight it. I got to put it in point slope form. Okay, so I'm going to start out with y what? Equals x minus x1. Good. Now it just becomes a matter of doing what? Yeah, plugging everything in. How do I know what goes where? This is what? X of 1 and y of 1. Okay, so y minus 0 equals, what's my slope? Okay, and then x. Got to make sure I keep my minus separate from my, no. Right, keep your minus separate from your negative. Okay? Now, is there anything else I need to do? Sure. Even before that.
Oh, make it a positive.
Yeah, I'm making a positive, right? What's this rule right here? Stay, change, change, right? So y minus 0, x plus 2. Now, what form is that? So you are writing this down, right?
Standard.
It doesn't look like you're writing it. Write it down.
Standard.
No. What form is this in? Holy cow. Is it endpoint slope? So do I stop right there?
No.
Guys, it asks me to
yeah.
put it in point slope form, right? So do I stop right here?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm done.
So we,
Yeah.
Makes what change? Yeah, what's the rule? Stay, change, change, right?
If you subtract the negative, this actually is adding positive.
So I can go plus plus right there. Remember that from pre-algebra? Are you serious? We've been doing it all year. Holy cow. Yeah.
we don't have to do anything with the y or the x.
Now, you would if it asked you to put it in slope intercept form, or it asks you to do standard form, right? Then I would have to move some things around, right? Okay, we'll do an example like that here in just a second, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so I'm done there. A lot of mistake that people make is they go ahead and finish this out, get rid of the parentheses and everything. It's not asking you to do that, all right? So don't create more work for yourself. Make sure you read the instructions. Okay? Can't emphasize that enough. If I wanted to graph it, can I graph it? Real easy, isn't it? Okay, what do I need? I need at least 2 points, or I could have 1 point and the slope, right? I could have the line intercepts in the slope. Do I have all that information? What's the point that they want me to use?
2.
Negative 2, and that's what I used originally, right? So I can plot that on the graph. What else is that point called? What axis is it on? Okay, so if it lays on the x-axis, it's considered the what? X-intercept. Okay, now, count my slope, which is what?
Down.
Now, notice my negative's in the middle, right? So do you want to put it on the top number or the bottom number?
Top.
I'm going to rewrite it like that, right? So down, 1, 2, 3,
1, 2.
1, 2. Make a point. Let's see. Now from there, I would go up.
Up 3.
1, 2, 3.
That's
Left, 1, 2. Guess what happens?
So
Feels on the line, isn't it? So yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay? Does it matter if I do it like this? Yeah, that's different, isn't it? That's actually what? 3 over 2. So if it does that, then that means my line should be going where? Should be rising, shouldn't it? What's this line doing right here? What do we say it's doing though? It's, what do we call it? Starts with F. Falling. We say it's falling, don't we? Goes from quad 2 to quad 4. Is everybody clear on that? Now, one thing I've been noticing about some of y'all's graphs, make sure that you take your lines and extend them all the way where? All the way to the edge of the coordinate plane. Okay? The reason for that is because when we start doing inequalities, which we'll do in this chapter, we'll graph inequalities. Well, on an inequality, you're going to have to shade either above the line or below the line. Okay, so you need to make sure that your lines go all the way out to the edge. See what I'm saying? This line needs to go all the way to the edge there, and then needs to come all the way to the edge there. Everybody understand that? Okay. All right. There's a CYP. You may want to write that down. It's going to be under quiz. Yeah, we still got to do one for 4-2, don't we? So, but you probably need to do over the weekend.
What about 4-1?
We've already, oh, I know. Oh, we did in the other two classes. Okay, so you need to study for 4-1 and 4-2 CYP. Do some time over the weekend to get that done. Make sure you get it done. Okay? Why don't we say, let's do it Monday? 4-1 and 4-2. I think a lot of times.
So that means, do they mean you have to do 4-2?
Well, if we take CYPs, you won't have very much time in class on Monday, right? Did you guys get that? Go to the example 2. Okay, there's a little, kind of shows you the steps. If you have given the slope at 1 point, what can I do? Okay. And then rewrite it in the equation in the form, right? If I got 2 points, what I got to do was first thing. And this is really nice to kind of refer back to, okay, because it gives you step by step. Find the slope, choose one of the 2 points to use, and then follow the steps to write the equation. All right? Okay, example 2. All right, make sure you write the information down. This is probably one of the harder ones to kind of grasp what's going on, but we'll get through it. Okay, what form is it asking me to write it in? Okay, what form is it in now? So it's intercept, right? So now to get it in standard form, I got to move some things, don't I? Now, there's a couple different directions you can go here. I can move first and then get rid of the fraction, or I can get rid of the fraction and then do what? Then move it. All right?
Yeah.
I'll show you both ways and you decide. How's that sound? All right, so here's some things that you have to remember. See this little box? Do you have that on your?
Yeah.
Okay, let's read over that. Standard form linear equation, ax plus by equals what?
C.
Where a is greater than or equal to what?
Oh,
0.
sorry.
So my a, the number that's in front of the x, can it be a negative number? It can't be a negative number. Does everybody understand that? Okay, keep that in the back of your mind. All right? Also, too, A and B cannot be 0 at the same time. Can they?
No.
What happens if A and B are 0 at the same time? You lose all your variables, don't you? What is it good? Can't be equal to anything. That makes sense, doesn't it? All right? A, B, and C are integers with the greatest common factor of what?
1.
Okay, that means that they all have to be regular numbers. They can't be fractions. You guys with me? Now, a lot of people in one of the classes, they were like changing, that's a fraction, isn't it? Well, a lot of people were saying, changing it to 0.5, thinking that that was going to work. Is that going to work? No. 0.5 is still considered a what? A fraction. You guys with me? The only way I can get rid of a fraction is if I get rid of what? The bottom number. You guys following me on that? Okay, trying to help you out, make it simple here. All right. So we've got y equals 3/4 x minus 5. All right, so now I got a fraction, don't I?
Yeah.
How do I get rid of the fraction? What's the denominator?
4.
4. I'm going to put parentheses around both sides. You guys do that right now. Why I put parentheses? Because I know that I'm going to do what? Multiply. You with me? Okay. What's the bottom number? What's the denominator?
4.
So I have to multiply by what?
So it's a 4.
No, 4. I just multiply by the bottom number. You guys with me? Just multiply by the bottom number, which is 4. Now, rules of equality tell me if I do something to one side, I got to do the same thing on the other side, right? Because I got to keep it balanced. Okay? So I got to multiply that side by 4 also. Steve, are you writing this down? You guys need to write this down. Everybody good? Okay, so now left to right, working from here and moving that way. 4 times y is, bring my equal sign down. What's 4 times 3/4?
3.
3 what? What else I gotta bring?
Oh, 3.
Now, you got 2 terms that are separated by a minus sign, so we call that what? Or the b? Binomial. I gotta keep them together, right? I can't just multiply that one thing and be done. So what that means is that this turns into what? Distributed. What's 4 times 5?
20.
You guys with me? Now am I done? What's next? I gotta move this over here, don't I? Which gives me negative
3x
plus 4y equals what? Negative 20. What, Gavin?
Why do you need 3x?
Because it has to be in standard form.
Why is it a negative?
Hold on. X and Y are what? Standard form, X and Y are on the same side of the equal sign. That's why I moved it. Yeah, so if I subtract 3x from both sides, it just turns into a what? A negative. Question.
Why couldn't you move like a 4y here?
I could, but then I would have to move what? To 20. Now let me ask you a question. Hopefully you guys get to a point where you're good enough where you can start seeing this. Is this correct?
No. Well, correct.
Raise your hand if you know the answer. Tell me why this is not correct. Seth?
Because it's negative 3.
Because the A, right, in front of the X is negative. What did we say earlier? A cannot be what? Has to be greater than 0. Which can be negative. Very good. How do I change that then? Well, a couple different things I could do. I could go back, okay, and go the other way, or I could do what?
Put it on negative 1.
I could just multiply everything by what? A negative 1. Is it going to change anything? All it's going to do is change the what?
Slide 4.
The signs. Because this number in front of the X can't be negative. We just said that.
Yeah.
So I got to multiply everything by a negative 1. What's a negative 1 times a negative 3?
Positive 3.
What's a negative 1 times a positive 4?
Negative 4.
What's a negative 1 times? So now, is that the correct answer? Very much so. Okay, now you want to shoot the other way?
Yeah.
Watch this. You guys may like this. Another class did. What did I do first over here? Yeah, I multiplied by 4 to change the fraction. Well, what if I do this? I take that and move it first. What's that end up? Negative 3/4 x plus y equals what?
Yeah.
Just move it first. Then do what? Huh? Right. Now, I want you to notice something. You know, your top number has to be what? Positive, right? So do I want to leave that negative up there on the top number? Or can I move it? Move it where? Very good.
So you would have to multiply by negative.
There you go. So what happens now? I end up with a what? A positive A.
Oh.
Oh no. So parentheses, show my multiplication, right? Multiply by, what ends up happening here? Which leaves me with
3x.
This for me is easier, but you gotta remember all the concepts, right? Or you gotta know how. The problem you guys run into a lot of times, and it's not just you guys, but it's everybody. The problems that y'all run into is remembering all what I can and cannot do, right? Algebra is based on rules, okay? But if you know how to get to that point, you can understand the rules and remember the concepts. That's what we want to get to, right? But
Okay, so when you wrote it like y equals 3 over 4x minus 5, why did you turn it to negative?
well, because if it's positive here and I jump the equal sign, it has to change to what? A negative. It's like saying this: if I have 2 plus x equals 4, how do I get x by itself?
Oh,
Subtract 2, right? Well, that ends up giving me x equals.
Okay.
It's just like saying, and that's what we did in semester 1 that I tried to explain to you. What are your like terms? 2 and 4, right? You got 2 there and 4 there. Well, what is 2 right now? Okay, so it's a positive, right? And that's a positive, right? Problem is, my like terms are where? They're on opposite sides, aren't they? But if I take this and I jump the wall to get it over there, the rule is it has to change to what? Now I combine like terms. You see what I'm getting at? Just a couple different ways to think about it or remember it.
I would like to know something like that. Let's say like so let's say you did for some reason I did -4, and then you changed -4 to 2. It would just become -2, but that's like completely opposite of the other one.
What?
No?
Did you guys get that? I didn't.
Okay, so like you subtract -4 from
Why would I
positive
subtract -4?
we want to make the same size.
2. Okay, so let's say the x is on that side. So like, it depends on like,
You're saying 2 minus 4 like that equals x?
no, yeah,
Yeah,
and
like
then it would
that.
be -2 equals x.
Well, then I wouldn't change anything. I don't have to change anything. Why?
Because they're on the same side.
Exactly. Thank you, guys.
So you wouldn't combine like terms?
Well, yeah, you're still combining like
Yeah,
terms.
but it'd be negative.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be 4, it's supposed to be
I don't
4
have to
minus 2
change
minus 2
anything,
minus
though.
4.
I don't have to change any signs.
You're thinking of 4 minus 2 minus 2 minus 4.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have to change any signs here. Here, I have to change the sign because I did what? I jumped the equal sign to get it on the other side.
Okay.
Okay. Got it.
Also, like, she's thinking of like, she putting like that, that's a different problem than 4 minus 2.
It is. I think she's just trying to get the concept out. Okay, you guys good here? It is, you're right. It's different than what we're doing. Or it's different than the one we had up here. Okay, there's a CYP. Okay, now, what form is this in right now? No,
No, it's in slope.
point slope, right? So I gotta get in standard form, what's the first thing I gotta get rid of? Parentheses, right, that's distributed property, and then I gotta move a couple things, right? Write that down so you have a chance to work on it. So that you can get it figured out before we take the quiz. Got it? Okay, example 3. Write an equation in slope-intercept form. What form is it in now? Point slope, so I gotta get it, what is slope-intercept? Okay, so I'm gonna have to move some things around, aren't I? Okay, what did I say, the first thing you need to do? How? What's called, what is that? Distributive property. That gives me 4/3 x equals what? Put that over 1, 5 instead of 3s. So what am I left with? 4. Okay, what else do I have to do? And good. Again, so watch what we do. Okay, I can do it like this. I showed you this way, didn't I? Or if you start getting real good, you can save yourself some time. I just know that if I move that over there and get it next to its other like term, it turns into what? It's a y equals 4/3 x.
Because it's a negative 4 and a plus 5.
That would be 9 for
Okay. Well, you guys got a calculator, don't you? Okay, do I have to do anything with the fraction?
No.
Well, that's asking me to put it in standard form, is it? You should really study.
No, he said that.
That's slope intercept.
Yeah.
That's good? Okay. Chapter 3, there's CYP. What form is it in right now? Okay, and I gotta make it what? Okay, so notice y'all, you gotta get, to move it to slope intercept, what has to be by itself. So you're gonna have to move that, and you're also gonna have to get rid of the 2 somehow. Okay, write it down. Write it down, so you have a chance to work on it. I think there's a little space to the side, isn't there?
Would I have to move the 3x first, or could I divide by 2 first?
Ooh, I would save your division to the last. I'd move the 3x first. Okay, now this one is, I don't know if it's, read the instructions for this one on in your book.
So a figure shows traffic in A, C, with basis A, equals C.
Okay, it's missing some instructions. We got A, it's trapezoid, A, B, C, D, makes kind of a square shape, right? Okay, you got a base that's A and B, and you got a base that's C and D, right? Now, write this in. We want to write, what we want to do here is write an equation, okay, for B, C. What form do I want that equation in? Point, slope. Hear that blue box? Showed you the steps. Okay. So What information do I have?
It's 2 points.
I got 2 points, so go back to your steps. Find that blue box in your notes. Maybe, yes, that's the very top. So if you got 2 points, what step does it ask me to do first? Find the slope. How can I find the slope having 2 points? Okay, which one's gonna be the first one? You want B to be the first point or C? Okay, so x of 1, y of 1, x of 2, y of 2. You with me? Okay, so -2 minus 3. Okay, so the bottom is what?
X, Y2, minus 1.
Okay, so where are we at?
-5 over 2.
Okay, so that's my slope, right? Now, can I continue? Can I just plug it into point slope form now? Yeah, because I got at least what?
So,
I got at least one. Can I use the other point? I could because they're both on the same line, right? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this one since I've already labeled it. Right? Okay, so y minus y of 1 equals m x minus x of 1. Y minus what? What's my y of 1? 3 equals
-5.
and x minus too long. So you start plugging some points in. Okay? You just basically, I mean, this line indeed has what? It has a whole bunch of points on it, right? No, I mean, all you do is just write an equation. It's going to either help you graph or produce some information. Okay? Remember the extra interpolation? If I have an equation, if I can write an equation, then I can plug in input values to find out what my output is. Okay? Yeah, there's the CYP. Got some space down below. You might want to write it down. Don't you? Okay, go back, find your mastery box, plug in your mastery wherever you think you are. Yeah, you get like a participation grade. So when I come by, what am I looking for? I'll look in your box, right? See what your mastery is, and then I check to make sure you have everything filled out. It's like a participation grade, right? But you guys know that you're also getting quizzed on your notes too. Or CYPs, some of those questions come from your notes. Right? Okay, so you kind of getting a participation grade, and then you actually get a quiz grade. It's, you guys,
I don't know how to pull up on that.
Are you gonna come around today?
work on your pair checks right now. We're fixing to go over those.
I mean, you can, ready now?
Well, let me go over these problems on the pair check, Gavin, okay? Okay, now, you look at the pair check. Got 6 problems on the front, correct? Okay, so now, what you need to, hopefully, I don't, sometimes I wonder, because we've been over this before. You know, we just took notes, right? So I'm giving you problems on your pair check to reemphasize what we just went over, right? Okay, so number 1, read the instructions right there for number 1. Okay, now what example is that like? Look at the examples that we just took in the notes. What's it similar to? Okay, so I would put example 1 right there. You know what I'm saying? Okay, then I would also, which one is that one like? 1 or 2? That looks like 1 to me. And then these 2 are like what? Example 2. Remember that little study tip box over on the side? Okay, that I tried to emphasize to you. Make sure that you refer back to that. Okay, for help. All right. Try lunch Monday. All right. Can you come in lunch Monday? What?